Hey guys, welcome to my car. So today I wanted to talk to you about closet decluttering. And I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory before I get into the actual declutter conversation. And the backstory is basically I gained weight. And so I got married at the tail end of 2018, and about midway through 2019, I realized that I was putting on weight, and the putting on weight was pretty consistent up until probably about mid 2020. So I know right now a lot of us are blaming our weight gain on the pandemic. I know good and well my weight gain had nothing to do with the pandemic. It was just, it happened, and it was going to happen whether or not the world shut down. So the part of this that was really hard for me to take was the fact that I have always been conscious of my weight, self-conscious of my weight. Ever since I was probably like 10, I can remember writing myself little lists about how I needed to lose weight and how I needed to exercise and all these things. So weight was always something that bared on my mind. And I had successfully lost weight in the past, but it was through being really, really strict on myself. And even when I was at my thinnest, I never remember feeling like I'd really arrived. I still, regardless of how thin I was, my body type always has a little bit of a belly. I'm never going to not have a belly. It's very possible that my skeleton has a belly. It's what it is. So that was my big part, but there were other parts of my body too that I would nitpick at, and I just never felt like I was the way that I wanted to look like, regardless of whether I was at my heaviest or at my lowest. Like, either way, the parts of my body that bother me, they're the same thing, and they're still there regardless of whether I was at my thinnest or my heaviest. But because of being a weight conscious person, because I always had that kind of mind chatter about how other people perceived me, and I must be fat, and I don't look skinny like that girl, and all of these things, because that was always in my head, gaining weight was really, really alarming. And the way that it happened was that, like, I would notice that things aren't fitting right, and I would not want to get new clothes in the size that actually needed to fit me, because that size was a size I didn't want to be. Like, it had like a stigma to it. I didn't want to be that. And so then I'd go through this whole process where I'd be really upset with myself, and I'd be like, that's it, I gotta diet, I gotta do this, and blah, blah, blah. And then it wouldn't work, because I'd get myself all in a tizzy, and then I'd get depressed and sad, and I'd give up, and I'd finally go ahead and buy the new clothes that were in the higher size, and I'd just tell myself, okay, I can buy this size, but I can't get any bigger. Give it a month, and then I needed the next size up, and a whole cycle all over again. And this happened multiple times through that year that I gained weight, multiple times. And so it was a really hard cycle for me, because I just kept consistently gaining weight. And so finally topped out probably about a year ago, maybe year and a half, and it finally kind of like leveled off and just stayed about the same size, give or take, like 5 pounds, maybe 10 pounds on a good day or a bad day, depending on which way you're going. So finally kind of leveled off, which very, very helpful for my mindset, by the way. So at that point where I kind of was the same size, I finally got to the point where I talked myself into doing a closet declutter. And I realized that I needed the peace of mind of being able to go to my closet and have things that fit me, not things that I would look at and instantly get depressed because I could not fit in them. And so this is bringing in the whole thing that I feel like pretty much all of us as women need help with, and that's learning how to let go of things that don't make us feel as good as we should. So what I did, this was while I was still able to be working at home, which was super helpful because I was able to do it in probably a shorter amount of time than I would have been if I was still working at my job every single day. I took everything out of my closet and I took it into another room and I would progressively try it on. It took me about 2 days to do my full closet. Like I said, it might have taken me more like a week if I was driving to work and all of that, but with working at home, I had more time. So I took everything out of my closet and put it on my window, hung it up on my window so that my cats wouldn't, and tried everything on. Everything. One thing I will say, if you decide to go this route with doing a closet declutter for yourself, A, you will feel better after it, but B, you will feel terrible during it. Absolutely terrible. Because I always have problems going into a store to try on clothes anyway. Like normally I buy my clothes online and just, try them on and get it over with. And if it's bad, send it back. And if it's good, keep it, kind of thing. But going into a store and trying something on just always kind of demoralized me, because I would think in my head of how cute it was on the hanger and how cute it was going to look on me. And probably the picture in my head was like a photoshopped model version of me, not like a real world model of me. And so when I put it on, the real me, I didn't like the way it looked. Like it didn't look the way it looked in my head. And sometimes it just straight up looked awful. And other times it was just that like the mental image wasn't matching up. So take that, but then add in the fact that it's your own clothes, especially if you're coming at it from the angle that I was coming at it from, which is I used to fit in that. I used to look good in that. And now I cannot fit my arm through that. I literally had that happen. So it was a very depressing process, but I'm completely glad that I did it. And I did have a trick that I kind of like kept in my mind to motivate myself to go ahead and move forward with this and not just give up in the middle, which I will tell you in a little bit. So tried on every piece of clothes. The things that I did not like that still fit me, but I didn't like them, out. The things that I did like, but they didn't fit me, out. Things that maybe I bought as a incentive to get smaller, which thankfully I hadn't actually bought many things like that, but you do kind of hang on to things like that, like, well, maybe one day I'll be that size. So if I had stuff like that, that was gone too. And there is one exception to this, and that is that if it was something that I really and truly loved for whatever reason, maybe it was sentimental, because, clothes kind of get that thing where like you remember what happened in them. And so, like, if it was the shirt that I was wearing the day Nathan proposed to me, like, of course I'm not going to get rid of that. Or if it was, I had this one skirt that was just an awesome skirt. It fit me perfectly when I was thinner, and I loved it so much that I was like, well, I'm not getting rid of that, because what if I do actually lose weight? That is not the process that I was trying to take, because I didn't want to keep a lot of things for if I lose weight. But because I did love that skirt so much, I did decide to keep it. But there was a caveat to that. I didn't want to just keep it in my closet and have it looking at me every time that I tried to get dressed, because whether or not, maybe it sounds crazy, but if you go to your closet and you see something that is not an option for you, it's like it's telling you something bad about yourself. If I left that skirt in my closet, every time I would see it, I would automatically think of when I used to fit in that skirt and how I can't fit in that skirt anymore. And that's not what I needed for my mental state. So what I did with those things that weren't options for now, but I did want to keep for whatever reason, is I packed them up into a tote box in my basement, where at best I see it once every few months when I go to change out the seasons or what have you. Now, subsequently, I have gotten rid of some more of those things, but if there's something like that you're actually attached to for some reason, you can still keep it without keeping it in your current rotation of clothes. So that's what I did on pieces like that. So the process of actually trying everything on and finding out how much did not fit and how much did not look good on me if it did fit, or maybe just stuff that I didn't like ever, but I kept them because they fit me. It was a hard process, but I felt so much better for doing it. My closet had so much less stuff in it. And I realized, and this was my motivation thing that I kept going in my head. This was how I tricked myself into not giving up on this process, because I would tell myself, well, if I get rid of all this stuff that doesn't actually fit, that I don't like, doesn't make me happy, then I can go buy new stuff. And your girl loves to shop, so buying new stuff is a really good incentive. I didn't go to the store and buy tons of stuff right away, because I think that would almost defeat the purpose, because the purpose wasn't so much to get rid of all this stuff and then replenish all this stuff. It was get rid of the stuff that doesn't make me happy, and then figure out what I actually need. Because leading up to actually doing the closet declutter, I had started to realize I might have a closet full of clothes, but I'm wearing 5 outfits. There is a literal 5 outfit rotation going on here, and maybe I've got 3 outfits that I can comfortably wear on the weekend. And if that was it anyway, maybe that's really all I needed, or maybe I just needed a couple more things to put in there. So excuse me. So my thought process was, will get rid of this stuff, and then I'll find out what it is that I actually need. Because the thing is, when you're keeping a lot of excess clothes, a lot of times I would find myself keeping it because, well, I need a pair of black dress pants, and these ones make me feel horrible and I don't like them, but they're black dress pants. By throwing them away, then the next time that I would go to get dressed and need a pair of black dress pants, maybe I couldn't wear what I wanted to wear that day, but I'm like, okay, I need to go to the store, find myself a good pair of black dress pants, get them, and then that need will be filled. So I really didn't buy like a whole lot of extra stuff after I did that closet declutter, because there were really only a few more things that I needed, and I was being more intentional with what I was buying, because then when I would look at something to get it, I would, kind of try to decide if that's something that I really actually wanted in my wardrobe. Like, did I want to look like that? Did I want to wear that style? Does that style match up with the other things that I've already got in my wardrobe? So it helped me be a little bit more subjective about the things that I was putting in my wardrobe, instead of just like hoarding things, kind of. So all of that, and it honestly was so freeing. If you are able to go to your closet and put something on that actually feels good on your body, you don't have to unbutton the top button of your jeans to get through your workday. You don't have to keep pulling at your clothes because they don't quite fit or don't quite cover you the way that they should. There's a lot of liberty in that. Like that really frees up your mindset, because then your body is comfortable. And when your body's not comfortable, it's hard for your mind to be comfortable. Like, it's hard because your body sends signals to your mind. So if your body's not comfortable about something that's on it, it's always sending this signal to your mind like, hey, fix this. And then you've got all this stuff going on in your head, and you can't just enjoy your life. So long story short, because I did make this a long story, but it's kind of a personal video to me, because it's, it's my journey, it's my thing. But it was so helpful to me to do that and to get that stuff out of my closet that I didn't really like anyway. Like, if you go into your closet and there's something, maybe it fits you just fine, but you consistently do not pick it for whatever that reason is. Maybe you don't like the color. Maybe you don't like the way it feels on you. You don't like the way it looks on you. Whatever. If you don't like it, just get rid of it. It's perfectly okay to get rid of stuff. Back in the 40s, they had a lot more of a limited wardrobe. Now, if you look it up, the 40s and 50s, girls, not even like the movie stars, but just like anyone on the street, they looked amazing. But they maybe only had like 4 or 5 pieces in their wardrobe. So how do you pull that off? You pull it off with good quality things that you know how to mix up. So maybe we don't need as much clothes as it feels like we need. And you can do a lot with a little, if that little bit is good, if that little bit fits you. And something that happened for me that was really an extra step to this, like an extra freeing thing. I had a couple things that I didn't want to get rid of because they were special to me. One was a skirt and one was a dress. I really, really loved this skirt and this dress. It was a special occasion dress, and the skirt, it was one of those skirts that just makes you feel like $1,000,000. Like, stuff can be going on all around you, and then you put on this skirt and you're like, I look good. So I really hesitated to get rid of these things, even though they didn't fit me anymore. I couldn't even zip up the dress anymore. But what happened was I actually looked up the places that I had got them from and looked up that exact item. Now, granted, this had been a couple years since I had bought both of these, but they were actually still available and available in bigger sizes. And that to me was just so awesome, because I was able to replace these things in my wardrobe that I really liked that I couldn't fit in anymore. I know that's not going to be the case with everything. Some things are one of a kind. Some things you have no idea where they even came from, but you might be able to find something that's similar in a size that suits you. And I still feel like $1,000,000 in that skirt. It might be a couple sizes bigger than the first skirt that I got, but I still feel just as beautiful in that skirt in a bigger size as I did when it was in a smaller size. It's a quality skirt. I mean, it's like a $60, $70 skirt, so it should be, but like that's the good thing about wearing clothes that fit you. Both fit your body and fit your style. Like, they just feel good. And so if I was wearing clothes that fit me, maybe I am still heavy. Maybe I'm not where I want to be. But I feel really good, and I feel really good in my skin. And since I'm not constantly getting those like little receptor signals from my body that things don't feel good, things don't fit right, all this stuff, then I'm able to just kind of accept the way that I am, and I'm not super dissatisfied with my weight. Would I love to lose 20 pounds? It would be cool, but I'm actually not even looking for that, because I'm actually completely comfortable where I am. I feel good in my skin. I feel good because I now have clothes that fit me at the size that I am. And I know that I can actually still look good at the size that I am. And I actually was never this comfortable and confident when I was a smaller size. So what would have happened if I had done the same thing back then? If I had gotten rid of all of the clothes in my closet that were telling me I wasn't thin enough yet? What if I had gotten rid of all the things that I just didn't really like anymore? You know? So, just some food for thought for you. I know that I rambled, and to be honest, my husband's probably wondering where I am because I'm supposed to be home right now. But hopefully this video gave you a little bit of inspiration to go into your own wardrobe, get some things out that are kind of bogging you down, because clothes can bog us down. And, you know, give yourself permission, within reason, of course, within your budget, within your timeline, but give yourself permission to get yourself something new, something that fits, or something that is in your favorite color, or, you know, whatever it is. Your clothes should make you happy. Like, they're not the most important thing. By no means am I saying to be super materialistic and focus on having the best clothes in the world, but have clothes that make you comfortable. If that's sweaters, if that's boots, if that's jeans that fit really good, just have clothes that you're excited to wear and you feel like you look good, because it's not even about being like narcissistic or anything. It's just that when you're in clothes that feel good, you feel like you can face people and you can just kind of take the world a little bit better. So it's kind of important. And I think we miss that because we just keep keeping things that don't make us happy. And I'm not trying to be like super psychological here or anything, but honestly, truly, I've been through this and it helps so much. And my final and last tip, and I know I'm taking way too much of your time and mine too, but my final and last tip is one closet declutter is not the end. It's definitely a good idea to every like 6 months to a year go back through and do this again. Not necessarily as deep of a declutter. Like I just recently did a re-declutter. I just recently did that for myself as well. And I did not go into, I'm going to try on everything in my closet, because at this point, most of the stuff in my closet I already have had on fairly recently. But the things that I didn't have on fairly recently, I actually made a separate little section in my closet to try those on in the near future and make a final decision on them. But I did find some things that I had kept before, that had fit me before, that I didn't feel good in anymore. And I have a pair of pants that I had gotten when they were too big, and now they're not too big. And I wore them. Somebody told me they looked good. And I tried to put them on for work today, and I was like, I just don't like these. So they're going away. It doesn't matter if people tell you if you look good in it or not. If you don't like it, just get rid of it. Simplify. Once you do, you will feel so much better. Bye, guys.